Alright, in this video I'm going to talk about using CrowdSearch to make your PBNs more powerful and also your money site. So the way this works is you can use CrowdSearch now to basically go through different tiers and then end up on your money site. So this is a huge signal because the relevance of your PBN to your money site is all seen by Google and the other search engines. And the fact that your PBNs are getting traffic at all is amazing because most people's PBNs, if you think about it, don't ever get organic traffic or direct traffic for that matter, because who's really going to your PBN? It's just there for the purpose of the metrics usually, and it's just there to get a backlink to your money site. And that's great, and it does work very well, but your PBNs are slowly losing their metrics and their power over time. But when you add traffic to your PBNs, this is huge, and in my opinion, and more testing needs to be done, but if you think about it logically, it just makes sense that Google will be able to find PBNs based on a lot of different factors, but the ones that are actually getting traffic don't look like a PBN. They look like a regular website getting regular traffic if you're smart about how you set this up. So if you just look at this quick little graphical representation of how to use this, you could use CrowdSearch to send direct traffic to one of your PBNs, and then you don't have to go multiple tiers out, but I think it's great if you mix it up. So CrowdSearch direct traffic to maybe a tier 2 PBN, and then that PBN links to another PBN of yours on tier 1, or it could be even a social property or something like that, and then that links to your money site. So let me show you a quick example using the CrowdSearch interface for this. Alright, so if I'm going to create a PBN type campaign, I'm going to start a new campaign here. I'm going to call this Dan PBN test. Alright, and then group name, I'll create a new one and call this, we'll say Dan PBN tiers, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then for the URL, okay, so this is the first URL that the traffic will go to. And so let me go back over the graphic that I had pulled up. Where is it? It's right here. Okay, so that's this tier 2 using this example. It could be a tier 1 if you want, but we'll go tier 2, and we'll just say, and I'm just making this up now, we'll just say this is Dan's PBN tier 2.com. Okay? Obviously this campaign is not going to work because this is not a real PBN of mine. Alright, we're going to go to direct traffic, and we're going to hit next step. Okay, now on this page, you can leave geolocation on or off depending on what you want to do. I'm just going to leave it off for this. Internal browsing, yes, because you're going to want to set up a tier structure. But random browsing you want to turn off because you're going to dictate how this traffic flows through your initial site into the rest of your properties. So what this means is URL that you entered is the tier 2. Now, URL 1 could be an inner page of this first tier 2, so it shows a little bit of browsing on there. So I'm going to go http Dan's PBN tier 2.com/inner page 1. Okay, we'll say I'm visiting an inner page of that same blog. Okay, now you can add this little plus sign here and add the next one. So first the traffic's going to this URL, then it's going to this one, and then the next one, I think I'm just going to send it directly to the next PBN, which is going to be, and this would be like a tier 1, so I'm going to call this tier 1. So we're kind of working backwards here, tier1.com. So what this means, back over to the graphic, traffic was sent to tier 2, it went to another page of tier 2, somewhere over here, right? And then from there, flowed through another link to tier 1. Okay, but you want to make sure that the link for this Dan's PBN tier 1 exists on this page, because basically what's happening is the guy's going to this page, then he's finding this page from here, and then from this page he's clicking on a link to get to this page. Alright, I hope that makes sense. It's pretty simple in execution, but to explain it could be a little belabored in the way I'm doing it. But so on this tier 1, we may want to visit another inner page, right? So we'll do the same thing. And this say inner page 1 again, and let's get crazy. We'll do another inner page for this one as well. So we'll say inner page 2 on tier 2. Alright, so we've gone direct traffic from CrowdSearch to tier 2 to an inner page to tier 1 to an inner page, to an inner page, and then the last step would be to go to the money site. So I'm going to go ahead and add this plus sign here, and I'm just going to put in whatever your money site is, .com. Now, a lot of people like to do, instead of just going all PBNs for URLs 1 through 4, URL 4 might be a YouTube video. So your inner page of your tier 1 could point to a social property of yours, which is great. Maybe a Yelp listing. And we'll say that right now. We'll go with Yelp. We'll say Yelp.com/your business. Obviously, I don't know what that is right now for the URL structure, but I'm just putting this here as an example. All right. So what's happening is we've got the traffic coming into the tier 2 to an inner page, to a tier 1 inner page, and that tier 1 inner page is, that tier 1 inner page points to your Yelp listing, and that Yelp listing goes to your money site. All right, so just to show it graphically, CrowdSearch the tier 2 to an inner page of tier 2 of the same blog, essentially, right? And then you go to tier 1, and that tier 1 goes to the person viewing goes to an inner page of that same blog, and then to another inner page of that same blog. Maybe it's an information page, maybe it's a contact page, whatever it may be. And then that contact page will say has a Yelp link on it, which we're instructing the user to click on, which is this right here. We're saying find that Yelp listing on this page, right? And then from that Yelp listing, that will take you to your money site. So really, this has kind of been a 3-tier approach. So essentially, we're sending them to PBN, 2 of your PBNs, and then a Yelp listing, and then your money site. If you have any video embeds on any of these pages, I recommend turning play video embeds on, and then you can specify how long they should be watching that video for. Just round up, makes it a little bit easier. I'm just going to turn that off for now. I'll also disable social sharing for now. And here's where you set the number of search boosts, and you're setting this for the month. So it randomly will assign searches based on this per day. It doesn't mean that just because you put 30 here, doesn't mean you're going to get 1 per day. It's an estimate. You're going to get a little bit more, and some days you might not get any, because that's there to protect you. It's kind of strange if traffic comes in constant numbers all the time with no deviations. So let's just say we'll go like 4 minutes randomly, and this is random as well, plus or minus a certain percentage that we assign, and we can just set this to whatever seems normal for you. I always like to start with less, and then depending on how competitive what you're going after is, just increase it based on that. But you can usually get away with some pretty small numbers here, especially for a multi-tier approach. This referral traffic is so huge, I can't even begin to tell you. So what's happening here? Your PBNs are getting more powerful. All right, so your tier 2, your tier 1 PBNs, amazing. And then your Yelp listing is actually getting boosted from this as well, because Yelp likes seeing that traffic come in as a referral from these other links. And all these links are anchor text links that you've set up as PBNs. And if you've done your anchor text properly, you either have some market level type anchor text or some specific main keyword anchor text that you're using. So it all creates this correlation in Google's eyes, and that your website is related to these terms, and all these properties kind of get tied together in terms of being related for that, and they all get a boost because of that. And that's really how you'd set this up. And so if you have multiple PBNs, which you should, you can just kind of build this out across all of your properties and just have like a slow crawl of all your PBNs going to where they should be going. And that is how you set this up. And you would just click save and let it run. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about using CrowdSearch for direct traffic and PBNs.